Welcome to part 2. If you made it this far, thanks. I'm glad I'm actually making this. I use the NARS Soft Matte Concealer and a little blending brush, and I just go in on like my pimples. I feel like it just helps with the coverage later on. I also like to go around my mouth area because that's like the first place my makeup starts to come off from all the things. Now for my favorite part, which is the foundation, because I like my freckles, but not with makeup, and I'm using the Patrick Tall one. It changes like every single time I do my makeup, but this one's bomb. And I use the Makeup by Mario brush, and I just push it into my skin. I don't drag it because that just smears and it doesn't look good. And I really like this foundation because you can make it light coverage or full coverage. Of course, I'm going for the full coverage look, so going in. I like to keep my under eye pretty blank because that's where I'm going to put concealer, and I find if I blend it up all the way and put concealer on top, it looks cakey. I don't really know why, but that's what works for me. And I always take it down my neck, even if it's my exact shade, because it's makeup, no makeup, and I feel like it will always look different. I don't know. I just feel better knowing it's all one color. This foundation especially, I feel like you have to use a pretty glowy, hydrating primer situation. I don't really know why, but it looks 10 times better. I tried to use a blurring primer with it, and it just did not give as hard, so take my advice for that. Now for my favorite part, which is contour. I use the Patrick Tall She's Brawn Contour Duo shade and this type of brush here, and then I just start sculpting my face. I just do it the same way everybody else does it. There's not really a rhyme or reason for this. I just try not to go too low because I don't want to drag my face down. Patrick Tall, I've said it once and I said it again. Put me on the PR list, God! I take it up all the way around my forehead and then right under my jaw. I don't like to put it directly on top because it gives dirt and that's not cute. And then when I want to look extra snatched, I take the She Sculpted shade and more of like an angled type of brush. I put that just right in the cheekbone socket. I don't really blend this all the way up. And then I take it up on this portion, not all the way around, because this is way more cool toned. And I'm more of a bronzy type of girl, if you couldn't tell. And I also use this shade to contour my nose. I have like a pretty small nose, I'd say, so I don't really go too ham. But I take like a fluffy brush and I just draw 2 lines. And the main tip I have is to blend it into the front of your brow because those connect and it just looks way more natural that way. Then I go in with my foundation brush and just kind of clean up my cheekbone area because it gets messy no matter how hard I try not to. Same thing up here, I just kind of blend it together so there's not any lines. For blush, I'm using the Refi blush in Cherry. I've recently been like obsessed with this. I used to be, wow. Wow. This is why I do everything before concealer, so if you go too handy with any product, you can like go back in and tone it down. But as I was saying, I used to be pink blush girly, and I feel like this just flatters me more. I don't know. I'm leaving my pink era. And I also blend it under my eyes because it like kind of color corrects in a way. I also like to blend it on my temple because it just makes it a lot more like, I don't know, I guess the word's harmony. Kevin something, a makeup artist on here, taught me that, and it changed my life for real. Okay, this is the concealer placement I like to do. I don't know why, it just snatches me up the best. And I use just a brush to blend all these points and then a little beauty blender for under my eye. I always leave this to set so it gets thicker and then I blend it out because you get more coverage that way. This is also the only part I use a beauty blender because I don't want it to be too cakey under my eye. The rest, coverage up, I don't care. But this, I don't want to look crusty. Then I go back in with my blush brush and just kind of make sure those are blended together. As soon as I'm done blending it, I go in with the powder puff and immediately set it so it doesn't even have a chance to crease. And I always make sure to like tap it on my hand and make sure I have an even amount of powder because it looks better. I don't really know why. I'm not a huge baker. I think it just looks cakey and heavy. The only place I will kind of bake is the sides of my nose because I like it to be snatched. Also, when I blend out my nose concealer, I kind of just use my finger and tap it out because I don't really want to spread it because then it just like takes away the whole illusion. I use Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom under my eyes and then the Cupcake shade all around my face. I love a bunch of different powders, but I will always go back to this one. It's just a filter and a powder. I don't even know how to describe it. After I set my whole face, I kind of just take whatever's left in the little top and just set my neck. So I don't want that going anywhere too. Okay, now I use the powder side of the contour duo and I just kind of go lightly reinforce some of the color there. The powder stage is a lot faster than the cream stage. I kind of let that do most of the work. And then I just set and bring back some of the color the powder took away. And I know someone's gonna comment, this is a lot, like how do you do this every day? I don't wear makeup every day. This is just when I have the time and when I want my makeup to last literally through a hurricane. The only place I don't go over is my nose because I don't want it to look too harsh. It already does kinda, but when you powder it, it gets like real crazy. For blush, I use Milani Luminoso. It's like a cult favorite for a reason. It's just so pretty. Into the peachy red tones. For highlight, I use the Charlotte Tilbury Duo in the little highlight shade. It's more of like a natural glow within highlighter than the sparkly one. I like both, but I'm really feeling the matte look today, so I'm not gonna go super sparkly and crazy. Feeling a little crazy today, so I'm also gonna put it in my inner corner. I don't always do this, but I'm in the mood for it. Now for lips, I can't find my favorite lip liner, which is Matte Cork. So I'm gonna use my second favorite, which is She's Humble from Project Tall, I think. I can't find the shade name. And I start lining the centers of my lips. I'm like too tan for this shade right now, so I might go in with an eyeshadow and line my lips that way. I just mixed these two shades and lined it with like a flat brush like this. And then I go in with MAC Honey Love lipstick. Every time I use this, I think of Tana Mojo. That's why I love it. And I kind of blend it with the lip liner with the little lip brush. It just helps it look less liney. I don't know the word. I'm gonna brighten up my under eye with the Charlotte Tilbury brightening powder. It just kind of lifts my eye more, which is the goal. Now the best part, I take Inglot black liner and I line the top and my waterline. I'll show you the difference. It's just boom, sultry, innocent, I guess, not really. And that was basically the last step besides bottom mascara, but I like to set my face first because I don't want it to like transfer. So I use the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. The Liss one is a really good dupe for this, except it's just not as glowy. And on days I want to stay like waterproof, bulletproof, anything, one size is where it's at. It's just like pretty intense for every day, and I'm literally not leaving the house. And I literally look insane when I do this because I wrap a towel around my hairline so the setting spray doesn't like get in my hair and ruin it. And I literally drench my face wet and use a little fan to dry it. It just brings the life back after all the powder that I used. Bam! This is my everyday makeup routine. I don't really have a lot to do in the day, so I have the free time to do this, but take the parts of it that you can and apply it, because I swear to God, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. Tell me what you want to see. Bye, bitches.